Welcome to Hotspot with me, John Pennington, in the UK and Chetan Narula in Bangladesh. Hello again, Chetan.
Hello, John. Hello to our viewers from Dhaka. And as they all know, the Super 10 stages, both the groups have now gone underway. There's a bit of a fever here now in Bangladesh, and cricket has well and truly arrived.
Absolutely. And before we move on to the Super 10s, I just want to get your thoughts on the very final qualifying game when Netherlands chased down 190 in 13.5 overs, I should say, to eliminate Ireland and Zimbabwe and get through to their group. Did you see much of that game, and what a spectacle that was?
No, John, I actually missed the entire match. Just sort of caught the headlines because I was out and trying to get in for the India-Pakistan game. Bit of a shocker, wasn't it? I mean, the previous night, Bangladesh almost messed it up. In our preview, in a tournament preview, we had discussed at length how Bangladesh and Ireland, despite the minnows and despite the equality that this format brings in, we had discussed that how Bangladesh and Ireland were strong enough to go through. Netherlands have proved us wrong. I mean, and Bangladesh almost did. I mean, Bangladesh could have gotten out because of their own mistakes. They were very they took it too easy against Hong Kong. But Ireland, I think it was just one of those matches that you'd never forget if you get to see them. I did not, but again, one of the hallmarks of this tournament will be that yes, in this particular tournament we had such a game where it really changed around the fortunes. And what it does is it's made the group one much easier because let's not say, okay, let's not underestimate Netherlands and they cannot challenge the rest of the four teams. Let's not do that. That would be disrespectful. But let's be also very honest that Ireland, on paper, have a better they have better resources to challenge the likes of Sri Lanka, South Africa, England, and New Zealand. They are much more on an equal pegging than perhaps Netherlands, and I don't want to sound disrespectful, as I said, but it's just made Group One a little. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you entirely, Chet. It was interesting because Netherlands had absolutely nothing to lose, and they went out and smashed it. They could have been all out for 50 or 60 on another day. It was their day, and it was great for them. Probably their greatest ever win, perhaps even better than that memorable day for them back at Lords in 2009 when they beat England. There's lots being made of that now because, of course, those two teams will meet in the final group game. So the Super 10s then got underway with India against Pakistan. India running out 7-wicket winners. Chetan, you watched an awful lot of India-Pakistan games. I suppose it's got to be fair to say this won't go down in the annals as one of the greatest ever. But I suppose from your point of view, you would have been very pleased with the overall result.
Well, I just lost a 50 rupee bet because I bet on Pakistan to win the match. Well, yes, the billion Indian fans will be very happy, especially since this is the match that actually counted because we lost in the Asia Cup. India lost in the Asia Cup, so that was a bit painful. But this World Cup matters, and there's always this talk of the World Cup record being there. Um, in that particular sense, uh, India were able to maintain that record, and that's good. But yes, did not really live up to the hype of the match. I shared some good photographs from the pre-match build-up. A lot of frenzy outside the stadium. A lot of people coming in, just half of them supporting India, half of them supporting Pakistan. It was a good stadium, good atmosphere for the game. But again, the match did not live up to its hype, and I think like I said, it's been a lot of India-Pakistan games in the past. As our readers can also read in my match point review of that particular game. This match is now just another game for the Indian side, perhaps also because of their unbeaten record. But for Pakistan, it's still that big thing, and that beaten record, that the record actually skewers their equation, and that's what we saw in the first 3 overs. They were just too nervous out there in the middle, run out, did not get the required momentum. In an India-Pakistan match, it's always the Indian batting versus the Pakistan bowling because these are the two strong points. But in this particular match, it was the weaker aspects that defined the match. The Indian bowling was absolutely on the money for a change. R. Ashwin, I thought, was the best of the three spinners. Never very easy to bowl with the new ball. He put on the pressure initially, then Bhuvneshwar Kumar and Mohammad Shami bowled. The first 6 overs were very, very good. They did not allow Kamran Akmal, Mohammad Hafiz, and Ahmed Shahzad to just get off, get a momentum. Kamran Akmal got run out. They were almost another run out with Shahzad and Hafiz. And then Shoaib Malik and Umar Akmal had to rebuild for quite a bit. And then when they started hitting out, you had Jadeja, Yuvraj, and Mishra doing their slow bowling, and it resulted in wickets. And that was it. Pakistan were never allowed to build a momentum for somebody like Shahid Afridi to come in and just hit the ball out of the park. They were always fighting back, always fighting up. They were always up against it. So 130 runs was never going to be enough. And if you look at the first 3 overs, Rohit Sharma and Shikhar Dhawan decided, okay, let's not make the same mistake. 130 can be, that sort of a target when, if you lose 3 wickets, Shikhar Dhawan, Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli go quickly, and India would have been a bit of a bother there. So what the Indian batsmen did, let's not panic. 130 can be chased. I think if there was one bowler they needed to take care of, that was Saeed Ajmal. So even if you take 4 maiden overs from Ajmal, 130 can be chased in 16 overs. So I think that was a very, very intelligent batting display from the Indians. All of them got runs except perhaps Yuvraj Singh. It's been a bit of a run for him, but I think he will be able, because he did well in the warm-up, so not too worried about that. But most importantly, it was very important for India to win this match. Like I said many times before on Hotspot, that they finished their league games one round before, so it was very important for them to win. And now they've done that. Now they really have to look up to build momentum.
Absolutely, and next up for them is the West Indies, and I don't know whether you were in the press conferences with Suresh Raina. I think Darren Sammy, a little bit of an exchange between them, with Suresh Raina saying the West Indians, they haven't got a clue about rotating the strike, and Darren Sammy coming back saying, well, if you think we can only hit sixes, it's your job to stop them. So plenty of added spice maybe for this next game for India.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much defines it. I'm not sure why Suresh Raina had to open his mouth too much, because
too confident, maybe.
Yeah, too confident. I mean, if West Indies keep on hitting those sixes, they don't really need to run those singles, do they? I mean, if they can hit sixes and get 280, I mean, I just hope it doesn't come back to bite Suresh Raina or India. That's the crux of it. I'm not sure, taking singles and doubles in T20 cricket. That is not what batsmen want to do. And you've seen what Darren Sammy has done recently. 7 balls, 30 runs, 6 balls, 24 runs. That's what he did with England. He can very much do with India. Indian bowling is not that consistent. So I'm very, very afraid for the Indian bowling. Suresh Raina has not really done them a favor here. But yes, it really sets up the match very, very beautifully. I can say there's a thunder shower at the moment in Dhaka, and the forecast for tomorrow is not too good, but we'll know tomorrow. And obviously I'll be tweeting about it if there's any weather conditions which affect the game of play. We also have Australia-Pakistan before the India-West Indies match, so the pitch will obviously be slowed down. Sunil Narine, Chris Gayle, they will be a factor. Shikhar Dhawan, Virat Kohli, they will be a factor. I'm not sure if India will go in with 3 spinners. They just might, because they had some success against Pakistan, but MS Dhoni did point out that 3 spinners is not going to be the norm, so we'll have to wait and watch. If he wants to drop a spinner, who will he bring in? But India have been very stubborn with their batting, with the selection. So I think they might win with the same 11. The West Indies will be looking to get their title defense on a winning note, of course. Pakistan's defeat has just probably shown everybody that they cannot afford to lose any game, and nobody can lose any game. This is the group of death. So yeah, I think it's an exciting Sunday, which is waiting for us. Talking a little bit more about the Australia-Pakistan game, I'm sure you would have mentioned that anyway, but George Bailey thinks that spin will obviously be taking a huge role. And Mohammad Hafiz, I wasn't there in his press conference, but on Friday night he spoke about, because Pakistan were training elsewhere, but Mohammad Hafiz did speak about the fact that they would have liked to have 150 runs on board. But yes, that's what they need to do. They really need to sort out their batting and get runs on the board, because that is what gives their bowling a chance. Otherwise, in this format, 120, 130 is it's not every day that teams get folded out for 80, 90, 100. So 120, 130 is not really a good target.
No, absolutely, and we saw that that it would have been enough. For example, in the earlier game today, as we switched our attentions to the other group, with South Africa playing Sri Lanka, a close game. Sri Lanka winning by 5 runs that perhaps flattered South Africa a touch because they hit a six off the last ball and the game was dead. But what did you make of this one, Chet? I mean, Sri Lanka obviously very experienced. We've picked them out as the favourites to win that group, but I thought South Africa were in position to win that one, and they faded, or Sri Lanka came back. Which way did you see it? It was a good game to open that group. But just give us your thoughts on that one from Sri Lanka and South Africa's point of view.
Well, John, 166 was never going to be an easy target, and when you see how comfortably they were placed at one stage, they were 100 odd for three in the 12th over. South Africa and JP Duminy had just given them a platform. Quinton de Kock had given them a platform, so it wasn't really a tough ask given they had a deep batting lineup. AB de Villiers, Albie Morkel coming in, hitting in. But somebody needed to stay there. I mean, that was the thing. AB de Villiers got out. He was trying to hit the ball. Then I think JP Dumini's wicket was the turning point because they assumed that JP is going to stay there. Then de Villiers got out, and the pressure was keeping on him. David Miller. They thought, okay, let's make sure that David Miller stays on till the end, and JP Duminy again goes after the bowling. Uh, Not sure about that tactic because Dimini was the man in at that moment. They should have, asked David Miller to go after the bowling at that point. But like I said, it didn't really work out for South Africa, and it's becoming all too familiar a story. They were in a bit of a comfortable spot, and then I don't want to mention the C word so early in the tournament, but to anybody who's watching, and the fact, let's not say that they had a sixer off the last ball and it was a dead game. Record books 3 years from now will only remember that they lost by 5 runs after being in a comfortable winning position. So again, the choke word comes in, uh, but yes, they've done decently well. Sri Lanka, as we always thought, they're going to be very, very strong, and they proved again. The one Kulasekara and Lasith Malinga, very, very strong death bowlers. They have a good spin bowling attack as well, and good batsmen. They Jayawardene and Sangakkara failed today, but they still recovered enough to score 160. Kushal Perera playing a little bit of a gem there. So Sri Lanka are very strong. South Africa have to get their act together, and it just puts a little bit more onus on their games of against New Zealand, England, and Netherlands, and yeah.
Yeah, I thought too that Kushal Perera very impressive at the top of the order. I mean, we know what Lasith Malinga brings to the table, but I thought Nuwan Kulasekara's that 19th over that really left South Africa too much. I think he's often underrated a little bit because the headlines are so often on Malinga, on Mendes, and on some of the star batsmen, and it's sort of really important that that 19th over really sort of it just left South Africa too much to do. So really well played to Sri Lanka there.
Absolutely, I thought getting the wicket of Behardine was important, and it puts a little more pressure on Steyn and Miller to get those runs. 15 runs of 6 balls is never easy, especially somebody against Malinga. But uh, yes, Sri Lanka have all the bases covered. It's just about getting there in the semis and clicking on their day. They were in the finals in 2012. They got beaten there by Marlon Samuels and Sunil Narayan. So. Um, they have they have the prerequisites. They are the favorites to go into the semis there from this particular group, and after that it's just about 2 matches. And like I said, it's about being on their day. I think they will progress from there, and we just have to make sure that they are on their game for the semis and, if indeed possible, the final.
And finally, Chet, the other game today, England taking on New Zealand. At the time of recording, we've seen England's innings. New Zealand will have just been about to start their reply. What did you make of England's innings? Just about crossed the 170 mark.
Well, surprised actually because um, didn't really expect Moeen Ali to come out all cylinders firing. A little bit of help there from Tim Bresnan at the end. But 170 we have seen in the morning. That 160 odd was a good enough score. What England need to do is just concentrate on getting things right. Was watching. There's a bit of a dew around, so that's been a factor, and it helps the side batting second. But there was a bit of dew around when England were batting as well, so maybe that helped them reach 170. Uh, even so, 100 when you're chasing 170, you always almost have to score at 8.5 per over. So a couple of quick wickets here and there, I think, could be the difference in this particular game. It's probably going to be a tight game and probably going to rest on the shoulders of Corey Anderson. He's already been in the game, taken a couple of wickets, couple of sensational catches. So yeah, I mean, his bat could have the final say in this particular game.
Well, we'll of course keep an eye on that one, and that'll be one of the games we'll be discussing in our next hotspot in a couple of days' time. So, Chetan, for now, thank you very much indeed.
As always, a pleasure, John.
And thank you very much for tuning in, and I hope you can join us again on Hotspot. As I say, a couple of days' time we'll be catching up on the latest action as India play the West Indies, Australia, Pakistan, and catching up with this game as well between England and New Zealand. I do hope you can join us again then, but for now, thank you very much for watching, and goodbye for now.